Okay, good morning, students. Now we'll discuss the topic DBMS and SQL concepts for Wipro milestone 2. So, in this DBMS means database management system. So, database management system means first we have to know about what is data and what is management system. So, data means if any certain information we may call data. For suppose if I ask your roll numbers and names and your details, and each and every student may provide your individual details. You will say your roll number is 1 and my name is ABC and something. So each and every piece of information we may call data. Database management system means so these piece of data, all the data, if we are maintained in proper, if we are arranged in proper way to retrieve the whenever it is required for retrieving purpose, if it is easy to retrieve, if we are maintained properly. So if you are maintaining the proper way of each and every data, we'll say that one is database management system. So these database management systems are so different types are there. Out of the one type is relational database management system. So relational database management system means if we are maintaining the data in the tabular form, we call that one is relational database management system. A table means we already know. Table means table is set of rows and columns. Set of rows and columns. If you are maintaining the data in the tabular form, we will say that one is relational database management system. This is called table. So in this, if you maintain the data like this in tabular form, we will say that one is relational database system. I will explain in detail about each and every table. Okay. So first of all, we have to know about introduction to database management system and introduction to relational database management system. The first thing is introduction to database management system. So what is database? Data is nothing but known facts which is recorded with implicit meaning. And database is it is a collection of logical and related data at a one place. So for suppose, so this is the system and this is the if I want to collect the one person contact details and notes and each and everything individually, each and every person name and contact number and note is a data of the one person. If you are maintaining these all things in logically in related data, then at one place we call that one is database. Okay. So there the different management systems are there. One of the management system is file management system. One of the management system is file management system. We also call FMS. It is a set of computer program that maintain data stored in a file system. So a set of computer program that maintain the data stored by a file system. If you have stored data in a file, one by one file, we will say that one is the file management system. So the main drawbacks in file management system is we have to maintain separate file for each and individual person. So if you want to take your biodata, you need to take one copy of your biodata and you have to keep it. And the another person will have to take it and we have to keep it. Another person will have to take it and we have to keep it. So we have to take each and every individual. You have to take individual programs for each and every one. And data can be duplicated. Here, data can be as a duplication will be there. You may some people may submit 2 times, some people may submit 3 times. You can everything we have to maintain it. The no uniformity. If I ask to submit your um, if I ask to submit your feedbacks, or if I want to submit your details, so one person may write your roll number, one person may write first name is first and the last name is last, and some persons may write last name is first and first name is last. So some persons may write your name as a short form. So each and every person may write different way, different formats. So one person may write first name is first and after that roll number. Some person may write roll number is first and after that name. So each and every person may perform different formats. So data it will not be in uniform. So there was security control also little bit less. So in database management system, DBMS is a collection of programs that facilitate the management of the database. It is a collection of program to facilitate the management of a database. So management activities of database DBMS is mainly to provide efficient environment to access the data. To provide efficient environment to access the data. So if you are provide efficient environment, best environment to access the data, then that is the one of the major activity of the DBMS. So and another thing, after collection of the data is completed, in meanwhile, if we want to add some more, then we have to require adding methods also it must be provided, and a modification also it must be provided. For suppose you given one phone number initially, after that that phone number is changed. If modification is not accepted in your system, then we are unable to do it. The modification data also it must be allowed. So if you are giving and addition of the data, some new persons are also not adding, then that one also it must be FI. And it must define the structure of the storage of the new data. So if you don't specify the structure in which format you have to store the data, new data, so you're unable to do it. We have to specify the structure of the data also. So in structure means in which way you have to store the new information. So that thing also we have to specify here. And it implements the security and concurrency control and recovery from crash. If suddenly some crashing is occurred, it must be recover the crashing data must be recoverable. Then only it will be allowed. So these are the benefits of the DBMS. We can read it easy, we can understand easily. Redundancy is reduced and inconsistency is avoided, and data is shared, and standard is enforced, and security is applied, and integrity is maintained, and data independence is provided. So these are the benefits of the database. So these are the general database management system. The user will be in topmost end, and in between there is a one application. So we will say Oracle application generally we use it here in our Wipro programs. They used Oracle application or MySQL. So if it is Oracle, if you want to use, then otherwise you may use MySQL software to access the database. And you Oracle and MySQL, and these two are the use the SQL, structured query language. SQL is used for processing the queries, and it processes the query and it checks it is a metadata or database, and depending upon that it accesses the data. And database architecture is mainly in three levels: external level, conceptual level, and internal level. So this is the external level. So in this external level, user can see the main data, and conceptual levels and internal level. Okay, so in external level, each and individual user can view their own data. For suppose roll number you employee here 7367 is your employee is there. So this employee is there. In external level, this user can see his details only, and this user can see his details only, and each and every individual user can see in individual data only, individual user level views only he can see. And while coming to this is the accountant view. So accountant can have the accessibility to see the only employee name and hire date and salary and commission. So this is the accountant view. While coming to the project manager view, so project manager can need to view the employee number, date of join, and department and something. Someone like that. If it is only one user, that user can see the all his own individual details. That user can see his own individual details. So each and every user can see their level only, individual user level. So accountants have access to this thing, and project manager have the access to this thing, and individual user have access to something. This is the external level. And while coming to the conceptual level, this combination of the all individual levels. So for suppose here accountants want to views, then so what are the fields is required, that thing only fetched for him. And for a project manager, what are the fields are required, that thing only fetched. And like that, this is the conceptual level. While coming to the internal level have the complete coding. For suppose for this thing, what is the structure is required, storage view, so that thing will be done here. Finally database is there. So this is the way we have to design the database. This is the example. Same thing here with data is there, only here only fields are there. We will discuss that thing only, no problem. The differences between file management system and DBMS management system. So what are the topics we till now we discussed? The same thing we represent in a tabular form. We can read and easily. Okay. Now data models. The way of representing the data is different, that depending upon the representation of model, we can say that is the different one type of the model. So there are the different types of data models are there. The way of the in which way you are representing the data, so that thing depending upon that way we will say one model. So we will discuss one by one, then we will get complete idea regarding this. First thing is hierarchical model. So in this hierarchical model, if you data must be represented in a tree format. In hierarchical model, data must be represented in tree format. In hierarchical model, data must be in hierarchical model, data must be represented in tree format. So there is the initially there will be root node, and after that there is a leaf nodes, and each leaf node again have some more leaf nodes. So like that in tree way, if you are represented data, we will say that one is hierarchical model. So this is for a root node is the main base, and after that subnodes, and after that subnode leaf nodes, and leaf nodes and leaf nodes will come. This is the data model, hierarchical model. So network model, if you are, I think if you are already some of the students know about networking. So if you are in network, if you are interconnection between the one node to another node, then we will say that is the network model. So there is the link. So here in this example, so this is the one node, and this is one node, and this is one node, and this is one node. So this one is linked to this one, and this one is linked to this one, and this one is linked to this one, and this one is linked to this one. If I represent the data in link format, so for suppose this is the one student data, and this one is linked to another one, this one linked to another one, like that. If you represent the data in network format, then we will say that one is the network model. So these are the generally we don't use, we will use only relational model. So we'll directly go to the relational model. Then I will spend more time on relational model only. Okay. Yeah. Now coming to the relational model. So in this relational model, what we have to do is, in this relational model, what we have to is, if we are represented data in tabular form, we will say that one is the relational model. Table means collection of rows and columns. So each and every row. So this is one column, This is row. And this is value, one tuple. So if we represent data in tabular form, we'll say that one is relational databases, relational model and relational database. So here, each and every column contains one attributes value. Each and every column contains attributes. Here, this is the column 1, this is the column 2, this is the column 3, like that. So each and every column we also call as a one attribute, and each and every row contains one complete information, one complete record. One complete record means, for suppose for student 1, I need to in column 1 must be in roll number, column 2 must be in name, and column 3 must be in phone number, and column 4 must be address. So each and every C1 column contains all the roll numbers. C2 columns contains all the names. C3 columns contains all the phone numbers. C4 columns contains all the addresses. These are the attributes. Name, roll number, and address and phone number you call as an attribute. And each and every row called as a record. So if a row 1 contains the one student record, one student roll number, name, and phone number and address, and row number 2 contains the another student record. And if you have specified this particular cell, so this cell contains the one student, one roll number, means the one exactly one value. Okay, that is the way we have to represent the data. And another type is object oriented model. So this thing is not that much important, we have to can leave it. And these are the things we discussed till now. Okay, coming to the RDBMS, we will discuss in detail. Same thing what we discussed, the thing in represented DBMS is which all contains data represented in the form of the tables. Yeah, these are the very, very important things. So relation means representing data in tabular form. Table means collection of rows and columns. Tuple. Each and every row, individual row we call as a tuple. Attribute. Each and every column in a table we call as a attribute. Degree. Degree is number of attributes in a table. Number of attributes in a table is called degree. So for suppose this is the table. In this table, there are the 3 columns are there and 2 rows are available. So 3 columns and 2 rows are available. So the degree of this table is 3. Why? Because this one have only 3 columns. Each and every column we also call as a attribute. This one have 3 attributes. That's why the degree of the table we also call as the degree of the table is in this table is 3. Okay. Cardinality. Cardinality means the number of tuples in a table. Number of tuples means number of rows. So these are the header. This is the header. If you represent this one is header, and these are the tuples. So here in this table, cardinality is 2. Primary key. Primary key means you can identify unique identifier for the table. Primary key, unique identifier. Exactly, primary key means what here exactly? In which way we can identify uniquely in the table is called, that one is the primary key. For suppose if you have mentioned this C1 as a primary key, For suppose you are mentioned C1 as a primary key. In this particular column C1, we must give values uniquely along with not null values. Null values also it will not allow. So for suppose if you allocated roll number 1 for one student, that one is it will not allow to allocate for another student. The one must be allocated to the that one student only. It will not allow to allocate for another student. Okay, and roll number, if you are giving, if you are forgot to give the roll number, then it will not allow. Primary key means we must pass the unique values for all the participant, and at the same time we must pass the, it will not allow to pass the null values. So that is the use of primary key. And finally, domain. Domain means, for suppose if you are specified this one C1 is as a number, then it must be allow all only numbers. If you are specified as a date, it must be allows only date. If you are specified this one as a string, it must be allow only string values. So in which value you are specified, that values only it will be allowed. Other than values, it will not allow. Some key topics. Key. Key is an attribute for a set of attributes whose value is uniquely identified each entity in an entity set. So in which way we can identify uniquely? So that one is a key, also called as a unique key. Unique key means it will allows null values, but it will not allow duplicate values. And super key, and a key whose value is uniquely identified each entity in an entity set, which is generally all combination subsets of the table. So in that particular table, different combinations, more than one column, one column. If you want to merge two columns as a combined, if you want to set as a key, it will be allowed. So the thing will be done here. And candidate key. Smaller subsets are identified as a candidate keys. The main candidate keys are primary key and alternate key. The main one is primary key. Chosen key uniquely in the table. See, consider this example. These SIDs, this is the primary key in this particular table. So that's the reason one user, whatever the name is given, so that user ID will not be allowed to any other person. So we are not specified here as a primary key, so duplication will be allowed. Foreign key means if you want to insert any data here, if you set this one as a foreign key, if that user is exist in this previous table, then only it allow to insert here. If it is not exist here, it will not allow to insert here. So this is reference to this particular table. You are giving reference from here to here. So if you are giving a reference from this table to this table, then only we will say that one is the foreign key. Foreign key means no need to specify the unique value. The same value you can insert multiple times. The same value you can insert multiple times, but that value must be exist in parent table. That value must be exist in reference table. If that value is exist in reference table, then only this table will be allowed to insert. So this type of relationship we call as a foreign key relationship. Foreign key means reference to the one more table. Why this foreign key concept is required? For suppose students are enrolled here, I want to declare the results of the particular student. If that student is not enrolled, if I want to give the result to that particular student, this is the not the valid. If the existing student only must receive the result. If the student is not exist, we are not have the rights to declare the results to that particular student. That is the mistake now. So if you want to avoid this thing, in the results table, if you specified student roll number as a foreign key, for, unfortunately, if you want to insert any data, it will be restrict. So that student is not exist in the student table. So that is the reason we want to give the foreign key reference. So this is about the first. Okay. Now, so once data is created, now we have to know about SQL statements. Now we have to know about SQL statement. SQL means structured query language. So in this, there are different types of commands are there. SQL, we have to discuss all the commands. Before discussing in detail about commands, now we will discuss initially about some queries. Select query, how to retrieve the data from the table. So we will discuss that thing first, and later on we will go for discussing the SQL commands. So here projections comes keywords we will discuss. Projection means if you want to display the one specific each and every column. Okay, each and every column, if you want to display the column wise data, only roll numbers or only names, or names and roll numbers only, not only except others, then we'll say that one is the projection. And if you want to display the data, row wise data, only student number one data and student number two, that then we call as that one is the selection. Projection means if you want to display all the information in the table attribute wise, then that one is called projection. If you want to display the any specific tuples, we'll say that one is the selection. And joining means if you want to merge the two tables, we'll say that one is the joining operation. Okay, selection statement using select keyword, we have to select the data. Select star or distant column names from table. This is the syntax of the select. Select star. If you are giving select star from table name, then it retrieves the all the data, entire data in the table, entire data in the table, all the columns, all the attributes, and all the rows of the data. If you are giving select some specific column name, roll number from the table, then it displays only roll numbers from the table. This is the select query statement from table name. This is the syntax. Select star means it represents all the tables. Select distant column name means if you want to display only roll number, we have to specify roll number. If you want to display roll number and name, then we have to write select roll number and name. Select star from, this is the table name, inventories. So all the data will be displayed. So here I am giving only product ID and quality underscore on underscore hand. So these two only I want to display, and these two only displayed. And previously all the three concepts are displayed, and now this one is warehouse ID is not displayed. So like that, if you want to select separately, these are the things are not required. This is the interface, software interface, how to do it, that thing. Okay. So now I want to increase existing quantity with 200. I want to increase existing quantity with 200. Then we have, while writing the query itself, we have to write, if you write select product ID quantity on hand and quantity on hand plus 200. The quantity on hand is 122 and plus 200 will be added and it will be displayed. Like that we can do the selection operation. And at the same time, if we want to multiply with 12 and add something, then we can do it. So like that, any type of modifications we can do it. The main difference between this query 1 and query 2 is Here, the multiplication operation is 12 and 122 is multiplied. Later on, 200 is added. But here, after added, the first instruction is plus 200 is added, and later on, multiplication is implemented. So that is the difference between these two. Clear? Okay. Next one is uh, in place of original attribute name, if you want to change that one name to new name, alias names. If you want to give alias name, then we have to give as product. Then product will become. And same without giving as, we can give space and name. Then only it will become. Okay. So depending upon the in which way, if you want to give alias names, also for identification purpose, if you want to give some unique names, then we can give. And if you want to concatenate two columns, first name and last name combined, and I want to print it as a name, so then we have to use first name concatenate last name as a name, so it will be printed. So like this we can use selection operation. Clear? Okay. Another important thing is, in this statement, first statement, first SQL query, select department ID from the employees. Department IDs are displayed. Select distant department ID from the employees. Distant department ID from the employees. If you observe these two, so here 20 is repeated two times, 110 is repeated two times, but here only 20 is repeated one time, 110 is repeated is one time. So here distant department IDs are displayed. Distant means duplications data will be avoided. Duplication of the data will be avoided. Duplications data can be avoided using distant keyword. Okay. Now SQL commands are mainly divided into four categories: data definition commands, DDL commands, and DML commands, data manipulation commands, DDL and DML, and data query. That is the called select that we already discussed, and DCL, data controlling language. So SQL queries are mainly divided into three four categories: DDL, DML, DCL, and query. So DDL means data define language. DML means data manipulation language. DCL means data controlling language. And query is data query. Data query language means only select. Okay, so in DDL and DML, or suppose this is the table. So initially table not exist in database system. If we are doing any modification, on this table, that command will comes under DDL. If we are doing any modification in this particular table, if we are doing any modification, the structure of the table, if it is defined, structure of the table is affected, then it will comes under DDL. Inside the table data is affected, within the table data is affected, it will come DML. Within the table data, for suppose initially table have 4 columns. If you want to change the column size, or if you want to add the new column, or if you want to remove the column, then remove the attribute or add the attribute. And if you want to change the size of the column or attribute, then all these type of comments will comes under DDL. If you want to change the data in the column, means tuples will be affected. So if you want to add new column, new row, or delete the row, or insert the new row, or delete the row, or change the row data. Tuples, if your tuples are affected, then it will become the DML. If row column is affected, column or attribute is affected, that command will comes under DDL. If any tuple or row is affected, it comes under DML. While coming to DCL, data query language, DCL, data controlling language, if we are giving any some controlling information, means after some that we have to go back, roll back, or if we are giving some conditions like that, will come under DCL. And query means it will not affect anything on table. It will not give any constraint to the table. It just retrieve the data and print it. Retrieve the data and print it. That one will become query. Okay. Now first DDL, we have to discuss DDL. The first command in DDL is create. Using create command, we can create the table. If we want to create new table in the database, we have to use create keyword. Create table, table name, and followed by you have to specify the some of the columns. See, this is the complete syntax for creating the table. Create create is the keyword, and table also keyword. Now we are creating the table. Table name is ORD. Table name is ORD is the name of the table. Create table, table name, and these are the attributes names. ID is the one attribute. Quantity is another attribute. ID is one attribute, and quantity is another attribute, and ORD underscore date, order date is another attribute. There are the three different attributes, and this is the type of the attribute. ID is must be number type, and length is 3. It maximum allows 3 characters, and quantity also again number, and maximum length is 3. And order date, the type is date. Okay, by default, if you're not specified the date, then by default it takes system date. Sys date means system, whatever the system is at present have the time, that time and date will be inserted in date column. So these are the three attributes. It have the three attributes, and it is designed. And describe is the command to display the table description. It display the table description. In this table, the name is the one thing is there, and type is the another one is there, and the name, ID, and quantity, and ORD. These are the attributes, and these are the types of the attributes. That one is displayed here. Okay, these are the different data types are allowed in DBMS. One is sorry, varchar. This is the character length, varchar2, and char also character length. This is the fixed length of the character, and varchar2 is the variable length of the character. And number, in this number we have to specify the two values. P means pointer value, and S means for suppose if we want to display number 14.5, if I want to insert number 14.5, I want to insert number is 14.5. Then normally floating point numbers we are unable to declare directly. If you are given number of 3, then it will be allowed 3 decimal numbers only. Floating point value is not allowed. If you want to display, if you want to store numbers like this, we have to specify total length of this number is 3, comma, and how many floating points are there? 1. So if we giving number of 3 comma 1, if we declare number of 3 comma 1, if we declare number of 3 comma 1, then it allows to declare insert 2 decimal numbers and 1 floating point number. So first one is indicates the total length, and second one indicates the decimal part, floating point part. So like that, we have to declare numbers. And next one is date. Date is the date data type. If you want to insert the date we have to go for. And long, if you want to insert the long number, long characters, variable length of the characters, we have to go for long. And clob and blob generally used for the binary representation of the data. This is the character data and this is the binary data. If you want to insert any image and some if you want to insert some image, or if you want to insert some documents like that, we have to go for these things. These things are the advanced versions. Okay, these are the some more advanced data types: timestamp, invertal year to month, invertal day to month, store the invertal of the years and months, and store the invertal days and hours and minutes and seconds. So these things, if you want to store these things, we have to use. Some key constraints we have to discuss: not null, unique, and primary key, and foreign key, and check. These are the important constraints. Not null means if we don't want to allow null values in that particular column. For suppose phone number is there. In that phone number, we must, each and every student must enter the phone number. Then we have to specify phone number column is not null. Then each and every student must insert the phone number. Okay. If you want to specify uniquely each and every field, if you want to enter each and every one, for example, email address, I want to collect email address. So each and every person must enter one email address, unique email address. If he doesn't have the email address, we can leave it. If we have the email address, we must enter the unique email address. That the email address not exist to any other person. So then we have to go for unique. Not null means it will not allow the null values, but it can allow repeated values. For suppose it may enter your if it doesn't have the phone number, you can enter your father's phone number. Then no problem. So if it is your father is entering your that same phone number and you are entering the same phone number, it will not consider. It will no. It will not check that one. If it is null or not, only it will be checked. Unique means it will not. It will not check for it is null or not. It will check that one is the unique or not. Okay, primary key means it checks both unique and not null. If you want to specify in that particular field unique and not null both, then we have to go for primary key. Foreign key means same. I already given an example for foreign key. If you are referred, if you are given reference to the some other table, that existing data only if you want to insert here, then you have to go for foreign key. And finally, check means, for suppose if you are entering the marks more than 100, then if you are giving check constraint, the maximum marks is 100 but you are entering more than 100, then it is not a valid. So at the time we can give check constraint to avoid this type of instructions. Okay, coming to the manipulation of the data, DML comments. So DML comments, data manipulation comments, to insert any row or update the row or delete the row and control transaction. These are the operations generally used for data manipulation language. So this is the data, this is the table. In this table, if I want to do any manipulation, insert the new table, new insertion, new data, then it will be allowed. That is the manipulation of the table. So that keyword is insert. Insert into table name, columns, what are the columns you want to insert, and values, and what are the values you have to assign to that particular column. So that thing you have to specify. For suppose here, insert into order underscore item. This is the table name. Insert into table name, order ID and item ID and product ID and unit price and quantity I have to insert. So these these 5 attributes I have specified here, and values followed by that 5 values we have to pass. Then that value will be inserted. Data definition means table attributes will be affected. So DDL comments are generally create, drop, and alter. Create, drop, alter are the DDL comments, and insert, update, and delete is the DML comments. So if you want to insert only promotion ID, then we can insert like this. Insert into values. changing the net. If you want to change the data, we have to go for update. Update table set new value where condition. So where condition is in which student you want to update. For suppose I want to update roll number one, roll number one phone number. Then update table set roll number equals to one. Roll number sorry update table set phone number equals to the new value where roll number equals to 1. So that roll number 1 only updated. Update inventory set house ID equals to 7 where product ID equal to something. So like this we can update the data. Okay, I will stop here now. And meanwhile, there is some more video tutorials already provided Wipro peoples. We can refer that videos if you have any doubts. And if you have any doubt or you have any confusing in any topic, just send me mail. I will always help you. Okay. Thank you.